Hi, I'm Dana Smith, a multi-passionate creative coach and facilitator. I work with sensitive go-getters who are ready to harmonize their innate intelligence to mind, body, spirit their way to full expression and success. I had a rush of inspiration to share this with you today, so if you're ready to shift your consciousness from anxious stuckness to fluid harmony, then stick around and follow along. I bet you'll feel different in just 44 minutes from now. Hi, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I woke up this morning in a state of panic, actually. Like I woke up feeling just terrible. My whole body was feeling anxious. I had all these worries present, and I was like, wow, what a way to start the day. So I pulled on all my tools this morning and I thought I'd share what has been working for me to shift that. Because what I've noticed is, and I've seen this in other people too, that when we go into a place of reactivity based on what we're experiencing that we don't like, we do not allow ourselves to see the opportunities that are going to help us shift most powerfully out of the habit of being in that state. Sounds a little esoteric, but bear with me. What I woke up and felt this morning was like this awful doom, this dread, this like panic. Some part of my nervous system was just thinking that it was about to die. And of course, that's not true. So I had to walk myself out of that and find a way to take meaningful action in a way that will help perpetuate what I'm creating. Okay, so if I was feeling doom and dread and I sprung straight into action this morning and I had all this like gross somatic feelings. I was feeling quite nauseous actually with this anxiousness. I was feeling, ungrounded. Like I was really up in my head and all these stories about fear, about scarcity, about loss. And if I had actually done what my mind wanted me to do, which was to frantically take a bunch of actions to try and correct that, I think I would have spent my whole day in that state motivated by fear and anxiousness. And I probably would have done a bunch of stuff that would have only led to the perpetuation of it, right? So what I did is I slowed the roll. I recognized that what I was feeling is real. Yeah, all that grossness was happening. I felt nauseous. And I was like, wow, that's a strong sensation. That's so interesting. I allowed myself to take a step back from what I was feeling, take a look at it, and relate to it in a different way. And the ways that I did this was just noticing. It's like, wow, this is happening for me right now. It's hard to be here. It's really not comfy being me right now. And I was also objective with the types of thoughts that were coming in associated with these emotional feelings that I was having. Because I had all sorts of judgments, like I shouldn't be feeling this. This is not going to help me get to where I want to go. I should be better at managing my emotionness, at this point in my journey. Of course, shoulds are always good to be skeptical of shoulds because that's just an ego trying to have a little temper tantrum because it's on its way out in an ego death process, and that's fine. Egos are meant to die. And I was having all these other thoughts about like failure. Yeah, I've been working lots with failure this week, and so that's feeling really hot and alive for me. So I was like, oh, cool, failure is sitting at the table too. Fear of failure, that is, and the embarrassment that comes with that, and really what I wanted to do is run away. I wanted to run away from all of this. And my tendency is to like go into hyperdrive of action, right? So I was thinking of all these different ways that I could quiet down this discomfort that I was feeling by putting all that energy into a form of actions and things that I could do to get myself out of this situation, which is all very good, and I will take action today. It's happening. This is one of them. But what needs to shift before I take action is I need to get my energetics in alignment, not with fear, not with scarcity, not with anxiousness and yuckiness, but I need to tap right into the feeling of expansiveness, possibility, hope, joy, all the things that I want to feel as I actualize what I'm creating, when I've created what I'm longing to bring into this world. Now, the trick here is that we cannot dismiss what we're experiencing because we're going to create separateness in ourselves when we do that. So we need to respect that, oh my gosh, I feel so disgusting and gross this morning, and this is really hard to be me and be this spirit in this human body. And wow, this is so uncomfortable. and just know that that's happening, right? So my ability to create a little bit of space so that I could have that objectivity made it possible for me to interact with myself in this way where now I'm in like a settled place. All the air quote, problems that I woke up in reaction to this morning, they're still there, I guess. I'm just not believing all of the stories that my mind made up to make me feel so gross that are associated with that. So what I'm hoping to invite you into today is a practice that I do. I journey and I work with my energy spaces and I clean the space out so that I can maintain this objectivity, so that I can work with my mind, my thought space. I can work with the somatics and how my body feels in relation to that, and how I can work with my energy field as well, so that these three spaces become a lot more unified, harmonized. They inform each other, and I move forward. My clients move forward in a way that is a lot more powerful because we're bringing all parts of ourselves forward with us. Now, when I explain it that way, as kind of looking at it from this three-part lens of mind, body, spirit, and we look back on my experience this morning, I was having a very strong mind and body experience, right? But my consciousness, my higher consciousness, was not on board, right? The part of me that has a deep trust in knowing that, I'm going to get through this. It's going to be great. I'm going to experience everything I need to experience in a way that is helping my evolution. My higher self keeps me in levity, right? So that was missing this morning, but I was having lots of thoughts, lots of emotions, and body sensations in and around that. So what I've done is I've spent the morning finding ways to bring that higher self, that spirit part of myself, and it's really balanced out kind of the wonkiness that I was feeling this morning. And that's what we're going to do in our session here. So I'm going to lead us through a guided journey or a meditation. There's going to be lots of visuals for you to use. I'll describe them. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our mind, body, spirit, trifecta, and work with that, ground ourselves. We're going to clear our energy spaces. And then we're going to take a look at anxiousness. We're going to take a look at yucky things and be a little bit objective and see what we can learn about them and how we might be able to transmute what we're experiencing into something valuable. I'm going to do this with my camera off because I don't think you need to watch me with my eyes closed. So we'll just keep this recording going as is, but I'm just going to turn off my camera and we'll go from there. So all you have to do is sit back, follow along, and take care of yourself. That's always the number one rule. If anything that I lead you into doesn't feel right, safe, good, just bring yourself back into the room. Right? You can always orient yourself back into present time, this reality. You can use your senses. I've never had actually anybody have a bad reaction to being led through this, but I just want to put it out there for you that take care of yourself. You are the boss of you, and what I'm offering here is just simply another tool that might help your journey. So if you are at any point feeling overwhelmed, come back to the feeling of gravity. Come back to your breath moving in your body. You can gently open your eyes and orient yourself in the room and just say, hey body, hey mind, we're here, we're good. And you can take some deep breaths and do what you need to do to make yourself feel good again. Okay, I'm going to turn off the camera and we'll get going so you can settle in. Take some deep breaths. And just notice as you breathe out how your body naturally settles, naturally falls into the sweet pull of gravity, while the earth is always supporting us. We can count on that. So we can really just receive the comfort of knowing that that's there, letting ourselves just soften with our exhales, sinking into the pull of gravity, knowing that we're all being pulled to the center of the planet. Noticing in your body if there's any areas of density or tension, sensation that you're picking up on. Just do a little body scan and connect with that. And if you want to, you can bring some softness to those areas where you're noticing the difference in sensation. And maybe just see it melt away with your next few exhales, letting yourself melt into the pull of gravity. We're going to be working with the three spaces of the body, the mind, and our energy field. Kind of spirits, energy field and spirit is kind of the same thing, or interchange. interchange those words. Sometimes I say higher self. These are all the same. So as you feel your body soften, you can start to notice the texture of your thoughts. Now, if you're new here and this is the first time you've been led through one of these guided experiences with me, there's a good chance that your thoughts are being critical and your thoughts are trying to assess if it's safe for the body and the spirit and the mind to receive this. And that is wonderful. Thank you, brain, for looking out for us. So just notice that. Notice if your thoughts are moving in any, if there's any patterns of movement that you're noticing. I often see colors, patterns, and textures when I'm doing this work. Maybe you do too, and maybe you don't. That's okay. Everything you experience here is just an offering, and you're welcome to use it if it fits for you. Remember, we don't have to figure everything out. We can just let ourselves be led. We can use things that work for us. You're just noticing if you have thoughts, judgments. If your mind is trailing off into something else, maybe you too woke up feeling anxious this morning. And just notice if those thoughts are those emotions are being persistent and trying to infiltrate what you're experiencing here. Just you noticing the frequency of your thoughts, staccato of them maybe, or the images that come with them, is helping you kind of be more behind the wheel of your journey. It's creating a little bit of space between you and your consciousness and the very human experience of having thoughts. I love using the image of clouds in the sky for my thoughts. I find that one beautiful one to work with because there's so much room to play. Why don't we play with that together? If your thoughts were a sky with a weather system moving through, how are they moving? What do you see? Are they like big, billowy, fluffy clouds that you see like on a calm summer's day? Are they storm clouds? Do they have lightning, thunder? Or is it like a mist, like a thick fog? Or is it something else? Just notice if your thoughts were clouds, how would they appear? Just receive any images that might be coming. As you're doing that, you can just bifurcate your attention, keeping witnessing of the movement of your thoughts and also connecting in with the body, letting yourself still feel the softening into the pull of gravity. You can do both. You can feel the softness of your body, maybe the contact of whatever it's sitting or lying on, letting yourself just really soften into that while you're simultaneously watching how your thoughts are moving. You might notice images or words are coming to mind. You might notice some tension in your body in response to the types of thoughts that might be present. That happens. I have a tendency to kind of frown and create a bit of a wrinkle between my eyebrows. You might be noticing something else. We're going to come back and touch into our thoughts again. You notice how we're not getting involved in the thoughts? Notice how we're just having a look at them, we're acknowledging them, we're seeing them, we're appreciating them as part of our human experience. And as we touch into the awareness of our body sensations, the thoughts that are filling out our human experience, we're also bringing awareness to our energy field that isn't so visible to us, but it's there. And if you're a sensitive person, you probably have some sort of understanding about how energy around you can affect your experience of having a body and the types of thoughts that you have. So if we were to get into it, a lot of people call this energy field an aura. And there's a whole lot that we could talk about around the anatomy of an aura and the layers of it and different ways we can interact with it. But for the purpose of today, we're just going to call it a bubble. We're going to call it your energy bubble. And the purpose of this energy bubble is we're looking at it as a way that we can separate ourselves from the world and the energies that are not generated just from ourselves. So this bubble, I want you to imagine it and see it just like that it's around your body, that there's a space between your body and the outside world. And in that space it's just yours. Like, this is your special sanctuary. And it is possible to get stuff stuck in it, right? Like, emotions can get stuck in this space. Other people's energy can sometimes get stuck in the space. Past experiences, the imprints of that can get stuck here. We can carry around a lot of baggage in this space as well. And I've had such good outcomes from tending this energy bubble, clearing out the space between my body and the outside world. And it's really changed my ability to be able to see clearly through my bubble and be able to hold more objectivity to what's happening around me and bring me back into choice about how I want to show up in response to that. So this bubble, just notice where it is, the edges of it. Is this very close into the body? Is it so close that it's almost like shrink wrapped right onto the shape of your body? Or is it more inflated like a balloon? How big out does it go? What are you noticing? There's no right or wrong answer. What are you noticing? How close is the edge of that energy bubble to your body? Just observe that. Notice how it is. Take a look around, 360 view around your body. And of course, you're probably doing this with your eyes closed. I certainly am. It's more of a developing an awareness of what it feels like to be in relationship to this energy field that is yours. If you're somebody who can actually see energy fields, I'd love to chat with you. Okay, so a really practical size for having your energy bubble. I like this size. This is how I was taught to look at it too, is like if you were to outstretch your arms to try and touch it, you wouldn't quite be able to. So it's about that far away from your body. So if you were to reach up above your head, you wouldn't quite touch it. If you had your arms out to the side, you wouldn't quite be able to touch it. So that if you were floating around in the center of this bubble, you could do a somersault and you'd have some space to play. Right? Isn't that a fun thought? Just knowing that you can float around in the center of this energy field, in this bubble. The world is on the outside of this bubble. Other people's energy fields are on the outside of this bubble, and nothing gets in. You're in control of what comes in. And I'm going to show you how to clean out what might not be serving you if it's hanging out in your space too. We're going to do that next. But for now, we're just having a look. We're having a look at this edges. I love to imagine it. It's kind of like a iridescent blue color. Maybe a little bit of rainbow marbling on the outside of it. And it's a little easier for me to see out than it is for any foreign energy to see in. This creates privacy for me. I like to do it that way because I like to maintain my space that way. What are you noticing? Was it easy for you to just expand your bubble if it was too small, or shrink it down if it felt too big? It's not hard to shift the size of it. I mean, you can press out the walls or pull them in. You could use a tool like a bicycle pump or something to inflate it. You could find the little valve on the side if it's feeling too big to manage. You can shrink it down. Nice. So let's take a look at the space that is around the body and inside the bubble. So just have a look. Are you noticing if there's any buildup of anything? And again, there's no right or wrong answer here. But if you're being shown something with these invitations to look, then it's ready to go. Just have a look. Have a look around. Are you noticing like a bunch of stuff in storage? Maybe there's some boxes piled in some corner. Maybe you're noticing someone's energy, or the remnants of a conversation that you had yesterday or at another point on your timeline. Maybe you're just noticing colors or textures, maybe areas of density or fogginess. Maybe there's a part of your energy field that you're just having a little bit of a difficult time connecting with. That's cool. Just notice that. Keep having a look around, noticing what you notice. You might also be having some thoughts around this, right? It's very likely that you're having thoughts about what you're seeing in your space. Just notice that. If you want, you can place them on a cloud and let them drift. Okay, so we're going to introduce another part here. So something that we call the grounding cord. And this is an important tool that we use to just make life so much easier. There's so many uses for the grounding cord. One of them is to feel grounded, to feel supported, connected right into that Earth's energy field. But it also can be used as a way to clear out your space, which is what we're going to do next. So connect with where the base of your pelvis is. So if you're seated, this would be kind of those sit bones under the pelvis in that area. You know, if you're lying down, it would be maybe the kind of where your sacrum or the bottom of your pelvis is in that area. And we're going to connect in a really sturdy like cord or image. We'll use whatever image we want, but it's going to connect to the center of the planet, and we're going to be able to drain our space using this. So I'll just lead you through a suggestion, but if you have another image that works for you and you want to use it, you go right ahead. So let's see a really sturdy tree come into view, and just notice this tree. Notice its branches, notice the bark, maybe the grooves in the bark. And then just bring that tree and its upper branches and have it absorb into or grow into the base of your pelvis. And follow the trunk of that tree all the way down to where the roots are going to crack through the innermost part of the earth, right into where it turns into liquid magma. And then you're going to come up to the top of this tree grounding cord, and you're going to find the switch. And that switch turns on. And as soon as that switch turns on, your body, your thought space, and your energy field all start just gently pouring down, just like you pull the plug out of the bathtub and the water goes down. It's that sort of uncompromising downward pull, gently draining. And as you do that, you just notice how nice it feels to kind of be connected with that downward pull, that you don't have to do anything to have that draining occur. And you can trust that anything that's leaving is really ready to go. You don't need to carry it around in your energy space anymore. If you're experiencing sensations in the body or emotions that often show up in the body, you can maybe just acknowledge that, oh, look, I'm seeing them go. Cool. And you can watch all of these thoughts, these sensations, these images, these symbols of buildup, just leaving your space. And just notice how your body feels in response to that. Notice how your thoughts are moving in response to that. And notice if your energy field is changing at all. And just be with this for a moment. Watching, receiving whatever it's showing you. And as it pours down through this grounding cord or tree, all of it is pouring right into the center of the planet. And you can watch it burn up and boil and bubble and get transmuted into something else. It's not yours to know what it's used for. We're just giving it back to the universe. No energy is lost in the universe. It's just turned into something else. And there is no need for us to hoard in our spaces energy. It just gets heavy. So notice how it feels to be more in flow and to just allow yourself to be pulled into the center of the planet, and how these three parts of yourself are in connection with that. You could just step back and watch it. Nice. So we're going to do another thing here that feels so nice before we get into having a look at the topic of what we initially said earlier about anxiousness and yuckiness and any sensation that isn't working for us. We're going to call our energy back first so that we can be fully ourselves in our pure essence before we go and take a look at something that's a little bit tricky to look at sometimes. So above your energy field, above your bubble, I want you to notice how there's a golden orb forming. And in the center of this golden orb is a magnet that is an attractant for your pure energy, your essence, your consciousness. That's just you. Not anyone else's, not anything else's. And you're noticing how it is coming back, and it's just so delighted to be called back to join you, because this is where it wants to be. And it might have, these slips of the energy might have been in the past, or maybe there's some in the future, off in your hopes and dreams, or maybe there's some energy, some of your consciousness and your energy and your essence kind of off in places we don't understand yet, like alternate realities or past lives or something else I don't even have words to describe. We don't have to understand it, but what we can understand is that we're calling it back. And so you can see this golden orb beaming back, streams of light that makes this orb above you just grow and get brighter and more full, more radiant. And once it's come to its fullest size, in all its glory, we're going to turn up the temperature just below it. Find the little dial that makes it come to a boil. As we boil it, we're going to notice that there's some bubbles coming to the surface. And as they pop, steam or smoke is being released, and that's just burning off anything that may be stuck that isn't your pure essence, and it's being released back to the universe. You can just watch it boil and bubble for a moment. And once it's done purifying, and it's just a potent, distilled, golden elixir. We're going to bring it in. And when I say bring it in, I mean we're going to bring it into your energy field. It's going to fill in the space. You can go ahead and reach up and pull it in. It's going to fill the space around the body. It's going to soak right into the body. And it's going to coat that entire grounding cord all the way down to the center of the planet. And everything that this golden, pure essence comes in contact with, it heals and rejuvenates, boosts vitality. And you can see in your cells of your body how it's just like magically igniting vitality in all the body cells. And you're becoming so radiant and glowing. And it's activating your innate healing abilities. And you're noticing how your thoughts and your emotions are getting purified so that you can just be the brightest expression of yourself without being burdened by the complexities of other things. So it's important when we do a big release, like sending things down our grounding cord and draining our spaces, that we fill it back in. Because if we don't fill it back in intentionally, who knows what's going to take up that space? We might have a hole in the aura somewhere or in the energy field that, someone else's energy might get in and take up space. Or maybe that anxiousness or sensation that we're trying to replace with something else, maybe it will find its way back in. So by consciously claiming our space as ours, with the most radiant, vital, healing expression of ourselves coming back, we're making it easier to maintain this frequency of connection, love, support, wholeness. And when we are operating from that place, it helps us, again, stay behind the wheel of our experience a little better so that we don't get hijacked or sideswiped from the anxiousness or fear or separateness or scarcity or loss or all those other things. There's just no room. So just feel and see how your body is filled up with this golden elixir that is you, around your whole body, filling up that entire energy field. It's filling up your mind space as well, coating those clouds and that open space. And it's coating that grounding cord right to the center of the planet where you're connected and you're still flowing without any effort. Beautiful. So it's from here that we're going to just take a look. We're going to take a look at the topic of anxiousness, because that's what came through this morning. So we're going to go into a museum. And we're going to take a look at the exhibit that's on display. And we're going to be curious. And we're going to see what we can learn from having a look at what's on display. So you can walk in through those doors. And you can go into this gallery space, this museum space, and just notice the space. Like, what does it look like? Look up and around in this room. Notice the lighting. Museums always, and galleries always have such very carefully curated lighting systems. You notice the lighting. Notice the layout. And you can walk through. Maybe there's freestanding plinths, those podiums that displays are set upon. Notice if they're in glass or if they're just open. Notice if there's things mounted on the walls of this museum space. What are colors? Are there building materials? Just walk around and observe for a moment. What is the space like? Orienting yourself. What are you noticing in your body as you walk through with this sense of curiosity and openness to learn something new. Maybe gain some perspective on something you've looked at before, but because it's in a gallery or museum setting, you can be in relationship with it in a different way. So in the center of this museum, you notice that there's a big display, and you're going to go notice this display, and it's on one of those podiums or those plinths. And you go up close and you take a look at this. You're really noticing what it is. You read the little description on the placard. It is a depiction of anxiety, and you're having a look at it. You're being really objective. You're noticing how the light falls on it. You're noticing what materials it's made of. You're getting curious about, how did this come to be? How was it made? Who made it? How long has it been here? How does this fit into my greater understanding of culture and society? Have I ever seen this before? And you can take a step or two back just to really take it in. And if this is something that you've experienced before, or not actually, just notice how it feels in your body. Is it making an impression? Are you experiencing emotion in response to this? And is that emotion showing up as a sensation in the body? Is that emotion or sensation in the body creating a cascade of thoughts to follow it? See what you see. And you can continue to walk around the display, getting different vantage points as you look at it. And then we're going to step away. We're going to step away, and as we walk away, we're taking something with us from that experience of relating to this sensation of anxiety, of anxiousness, of dread. And what is it that this experience of anxiety wants us to understand? It was put here on display for us to relate to, so that we could understand ourselves better, understand how we relate to the world or society or culture, past experiences. What is it that we are taking with us as we leave this museum from the experience of having a look at this and choosing to learn from it? The answer to that may come in colors or pictures, maybe emotional waves, maybe body sensations, or maybe nothing. Maybe it will emerge later. That's okay too. So you can thank the museum for having this exhibit for you to come in and interact with this topic. And you can bid farewell and walk through those doors. Come back into the outside world, closing those doors behind you. And you're walking back into your body, your energy field, and your mind space again. Remembering that you have that sturdy grounding cord in place, still doing its thing, still draining gently like a bathtub. You can feel the energy flow through your energy bubble. How your thoughts aren't just getting stuck, they're flowing. Body sensations are coming and going. We're not getting stuck either. So we're going to wrap this up. And we're going to just send a blessing and a thank you out to these parts of yourself that you may or may not be in regular contact with, but just send them a blessing like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be in contact with you. So glad we're all here right now, relating, unifying, harmonizing. And remembering that this is always here. This is always with us. How we relate to these parts is a choice that we can make at any point in our days. And it doesn't have to be hard. It can be fun and playful. It can also be instantaneous. So you can gently orient yourself back into the room. And maybe connecting with your senses and your body again. Maybe noticing the movement of your breath, how it gently has a rhythm in the body, or maybe you can feel your heartbeat. Maybe you're ready to wiggle your fingers and toes, or become aware of any light that might be coming through your eyelids if they're still closed. Gently orienting yourself back into. And just notice how you feel now. Keeping a slip of your awareness and attention in that alternate reality that we were just exploring, but it's here with you in this reality too. Noticing if you feel any different than when you sat down. And follow that. Noticing while you're kind of more aware into this world, how your thoughts are moving, how your body feels, and if you can still be aware of that energy field around you, energy bubble. So now that we've brought all of ourselves to the surface, all parts of ourselves to the surface, we can go off into the rest of the day, knowing that if we are experiencing a rise of emotions or sensations in our fields, we have this connection to our grounding cords that we can just bring our attention to and just see it drift down out of the body, out of the space, out of the mind, and that it can leave. It doesn't have to take up the entire space. When we feel a rise in emotion or sensation, we can appreciate that emotion, thought, or sensation is present, and we can watch it leave. What we've done here today is we've allowed ourselves to be a bit more in control, for lack of a better word, of our experience. Because we brought online our whole mind, body, spirit self, and we've lit up these tools to help us navigate any circumstances that we might be experiencing as we move through the day. I wish for you a beautiful day, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Hey, thanks for taking the time to connect with your whole self like this today. I know that it will benefit both you and the world. If you're ready to jump into more facilitated experiences like this and be among other sensitive seekers, join us in the Conscious Leaders membership. You can subscribe and join at danasmithwellness.com. I can't wait to see you there.